Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day, Thursday, November the 9th, race number 6 at Aqueduct. Let's throw up the field for a turf sprint. It's a maiden special weight for 2-year-olds. We're going 3/4 of a mile on the outer turf, and we are kicking off a 50-cent pick four. It is a big field, as you see, 10 in the body of the race, 11 through 14 are also eligibles, the 15 a main track only runner, and the 3 Ocala Rocket's going to take a ton of money after showing good speed in his debut in a live race. What's up with the turn back in distance?
Yeah, going to cut this horse back to sprint here. Listen, maybe it's what this horse wants, Dan. It's at least worth noting. That was a pretty slow pace he was on there when they went 2 turns at Saratoga. This horse did, though, get the bullet 9-4 prior to being sold back in June at Ocala. So we know that he's pretty fast.
A horse that did show improved speed second time out is the number 1 Typhoon Fury. I think this horse is going to be up close to the pace for Javier Castellano. George Weaver has had an excellent year with 2-year-olds, especially sprinting on the turf. This one's going to switch to the turf for the first time. Bred for speed both sides. Matoli thus far has done okay with turf sprinters.
Yeah, okay. A few turf sprint winners for Matoli. So we'll see if they can keep it going. If nothing else, this horse has been in 2 dirt races, Dan, and was just forced to chase both times. Horses that were just faster than he was. I actually felt like he ran pretty well last time, only second best, but he did not change leads in the stretch.
Bourbon Outlaw is the number 2. This horse is going to switch from dirt to turf in his second lifetime star. Already made excuse in his career debut, catching a muddy track, and Mark Henning sometimes gives him a race before they strut their best stuff. This one's by the Great Stallion Into Mischief. They could do anything. The second dam was multiple grade 2 placed on turf.
Yeah, more of a turf pedigree on the bottom, so I won't be surprised when this horse is just better second time out. They obviously wanted turf first time. It didn't happen. He didn't do really any running that day, lost ground at every point of call and was nowhere at the end, but just seems like they wanted turf for him. Hopefully they'll get turf for him in this race.
Ocala Rocket debuted for Bill Mott at Saratoga around 2 turns. As Mike mentioned, he carved out a very reasonable pace up front. He was only beaten a half length. That race produced 3 next out winners. Agate Road, the winner, came back to take the grade 2 Pilgrim, ran creditably in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. This horse is way the horse to beat. It is just interesting, again, equipment change, cut back in distance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love those things. Cutting back on turf in particular just seems like it's not a very easy thing to do, but maybe that's just what this horse wants. I didn't think he ran terribly in his debut. He certainly had a pretty soft trip on the lead, but he was very game when they challenged him in the stretch. I think he's all right, this horse, and he's probably the horse to beat. We'll see what the first-time starters can do.
Speaking of first-time starters, up next is the 4, Summer and Adrienne, and this horse bred both sides for turf. He's by Summer Front. This was a $5,000 weanling, a $14,000 buyback as a yearling, a $42,000 June 2-year-old. Summer Front wins about 13% with juvenile sprinters. The dam won 2 of 3 starts on the turf, and she's foaled a grass winner. Tom Worley does well with these kind of horses, although I wonder if I want to just see a race.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, if this horse is some kind of big price, then that 10-1 morning line or even higher than that is possible. I could certainly see throwing this horse in there somewhere. There's plenty of turf pedigree, and it's not like Morley can't get a first-time starter to win.
Dune Road has a very strong turf pedigree for a first-time starter. This horse is by Speightstown. They win early, 14% winners with turf sprint progeny. The dam was a grade 3 stakes winner going long on the turf. This dam is foaled a stakes winning turf router, and this one seems very well prepared, working regularly since early August for Carlos Martin.
Yeah, I liked all those things about this horse as well. We'll see if ultimately this horse is just going to want more distance. I guess that's possible, but I like the Speightstown on top. I like the fast works on the way to this. I love that Martin has not put this horse on the turf for any of his breezes up to this point either. Working really, really well for this race with some pedigree behind him, and he's going to be a price.
I don't think we really learned much from Migratory's career debut. Dismissed at a big price. He broke slowly, was very conservatively ridden at the back of the pack, and was really only allowed to run a little bit that final 3/16 of a mile where he picked up a couple of tired horses late. That race produced a couple of next out winners. Coming back now with blinkers on, I'm expecting a sharper break with a more aggressive Kendrick Carmouche aboard.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it almost just feels like maybe they were giving him a race first time out. They didn't really do anything after he broke really poorly from the gate in that race, but he was running on a little bit through the stretch to pass a couple of horses. He'll do better in here. I wonder if this is a tougher field.
Fratellino, the number 7, is a New York bred who made his career debut on the main track against state bred competition, was well beaten that day, now returns on turf with blinkers on. The sire War Dancer was purely a turf horse, wins 14% with these sort of horses, but the dam 0 for 4 on the grass, only 2 siblings to try the turf, none have won. This might be a tough spot.
Yeah, Dam hasn't been much of a producer. She did all of her winning, such as it was, on the main track, but she ran fine on turf a couple of times. She ran an 80 by her speed figure in one of her turf races. So I think she could handle it. She just happened to not be that winning type of horse there. I think there's enough pedigree here. They're going to make the surface switch now off of a kind of a nondescript debut. This horse will be a big price.
He is a half brother to Big Invasion, who just finished second in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprints, one of the sharper turf sprinters over the past few years for Christophe Clement. This one debuts for Clement by Air Force Blue, 8% with turf sprinters. Again, a work tab going back since about mid-September and looks solid.
Yeah, this horse has already been entered a couple of times and unfortunately has been getting rained off. They're trying to get this horse a race. So I'll assume that he's ready. He's got the pedigree to be at least this kind of a horse. You mentioned Big Invasion is really good, also races for these connections. I'm expecting that this horse can run a little bit.
Sounds like Fun is the number 9, maybe longer distances for this one. His sire, Fantastic, was a turf horse, but really wanted to go a little bit longer. The Damo for 1 on the turf, but has foaled a turf winner. It seems like a really tough spot, though, for this one, sprinting against this sort of field.
Yeah, I agree. There was more interesting first-time starters in this field, Dan. If you like this one, you're going to get, I mean, it has to be some kind of really big price.
The final horse in the body of the field is the 10, Have You Heard? And this horse outran his odds in his career debut. He was on a pretty hard chase, showing some decent speed over a sloppy track. Another horse bred a little bit for turf, being by Hard Spun. 14% winners with turf sprinters. Outside Post gets a little weight off with an apprentice jockey, and I wouldn't be surprised if he shows a little zip.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't either. This horse did actually really run pretty well first time out. So no problem with the debut. I'm a little surprised that there's a surface switch coming here because I don't see, tons of turf pedigree here. But listen, we're at the time of year these turf races at Aqueduct. You want to keep an open mind about just about everybody.
Also eligibles, I guess the 11, Reverend Moon, would be the horse to beat. He's already had 3 starts. He's run pretty well in all of them, and if he gives his usual performance, he should be right there.
He was the one that I would be interested in. I guess I'm starting to get a little tired of him, but he's run well enough to beat this field.
Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for race number 6. Ocala Rocket is the horse to beat. We're going to try to take a little shot against him, however. Mike, you're going with the first-time starter, Dune Road, very strong turf pedigree.
Yeah, I just like the way he's bred. I like the way he's working. Carlos Martin can get a first-time starter to win. And I just know this horse is going to be a price, Dan. I didn't really want Ocala Rocket on top. I guess he's the horse to beat. I'll try to beat him with the 5.
I feel the same way. I just don't think we learned much from Migratory. I, like you, think they were just giving him a race. I like that he's coming back with blinkers on. I expect him to get out of the gate a lot better. 5-3-8-1 for Mike, 6-3-8-5 for me on our Thursday DRF race of the day, the 6th at the Big A. Good luck.